Is this thing on? Yeah. Do you want to hear my secret about how I'm going to make millions during a recession through options trading? All today on Young Money Investments. Hey everybody, welcome to Young Money Investments. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about how I plan to rake it in and make millions during the next recession using options. Now, if you have been around YouTube or in any sort of trading community, you have probably seen a lot of those new investors that will post their 300 or 400% gains in one day and talk about how great of a trader they are, how much money they've made on that particular trade, or how much they've made in a week or a month off of options trading. And it probably has made you a little bit jealous. The reality is options trading can be very lucrative and it can be done right. I would love to see a lot of those traders, year gains or what they're doing overall, on their accounts. But that's neither here nor there. Today I want to talk about how I plan on making millions using options trading and why I think that is going to be so critical during a recession, and that is why it's been such a recent focus of mine in Young Money Investments University with my group of traders, is to teach them not only how to short but how to trade options, because of the fact that if you understand options now in a bull market, it will help you so much more when things are crazy, volatile, and very hectic during a bear market, so that you can maximize your potential and really capitalize when most other people are actually getting hurt on the long side. So in today's video, that's what we're going to be going into. On Friday, I ended up getting into, I take that back, it was Thursday afternoon, got into an option. I was trading I believe it was 280 options, $280 puts on the SPY. And I can actually pull it up here on the computer. I ended up purchasing 4 contracts. My average share price, I guess at the time, was $281.21. My current average price per contract was $216. It was $380 at that particular point, up total on the day of almost 90%. I ended up selling it at a price of $381, even though it ran up a little bit higher, basically for a return right around 75 to 80% on a small position. And so this is one of the cool things with options, obviously, is it requires a very small amount of capital when you can create quite a large gain. Usually to make a gain of somewhere in the $600 to $700 range, I'm needing probably somewhere right around 15,000, anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 worth of capital, 10 being on the lower end. I'd say, you're probably usually looking at about a $15,000 position in order to swing trade and make this kind of return. So this is one of the cool things with options, is that you are able to make a large amount of money in relatively a short time. Now the thing with this is you need to learn to hedge your bets. Options trading came out in the 1970s. It was a way to hedge the bets against a very volatile stock market. The reason why I think options trading is going to be very critical is because anytime you're in a recession, things move very quickly. There's very quick moves to the downside and to the upside, and you do need to understand and do your due diligence. Options trading is not for the faint of heart, because you can very easily lose 100% of your capital if you are not careful. The big thing though with options trading though is that the upside is so very strong. If we actually pull up the chart here for Robinhood, and I'm going to use Robinhood instead of E-Trade or TD Ameritrade because of the fact that it's very simple, is you can see that on Friday, the volatility of the S&P 500 dropping so much caused these options to just shoot up in price. I mean, we are talking here, the share price of $279.22. We saw options at a strike price of $280 go up and change 503%. We saw these ones up 542. I mean, we're talking all the way up here into the $600 range if you bought at the open to the end of the close. I mean, we saw massive amounts. I mean, we talk about, I was like excited and stoked about a 75 to 80% gain. I mean, just imagine if you had a 600% gain. Now, this video is not to just say, oh, hey, look, like this is where the magic happens. Rather, this is more of a video stating the fact that learning to trade options right now is going to be very crucial and very important, because if you don't understand it and you're trying to get into options once the volatility is there, you are going to get burned quite often. It's a very difficult strategy to learn something under a stressful environment. Whereas right now, I think it's actually a really great time to start learning how to trade options. So if you can get into this, this is going to be a very important strategy. My personal strategy, and kind of trying to explain what I normally do when I trade options, is I normally try to buy an option that is just slightly out of the money. So for example, let's say, you know, the current share price is $279.22. I see, you know, the next level, let's say I really see this thing dropping in the next couple weeks, and I believe there's going to be a strike price of $279. Normally what you would say, or sorry, I believe this could drop to $270. I could see almost a $10 drop, which imagine that would be several thousand% if you were to get in some of these strike prices here. That's only a 3-day option. You know, you're only able to hold it for 3 days. But let's say you go out to maybe, oh, I don't know, April 5th, right? Give yourself a little bit of time. My options were actually expiring on April 10th. So I actually did buy options that were fairly far out. And that's part of the reason that they didn't really, you know, change that much in price, was because I had options that were further out. So that's going to be another determining factor in the change in price. But anyway, let's say it is at $279. I believe that it's going to drop to $275. That would mean that with my $240 premium, the break-even price would have to then be $275 plus $240, $272.60 would end up actually being my price. That's going to be basically off of the difference between the bid and the ask, I think is where that difference in price is coming from here, that 20-cent change. But roughly, you know, if it does end up getting down below 270, I am going to make a killing on those. That is just a generalization, you know, obviously of giving you a good example. One more thing though, like I said, in explaining my strategy, is I like to usually buy options that are probably about a week out. I usually don't buy options that are a month, 2 months, 3 months out. That hasn't been my strategy to this point. I usually will buy options, you know, like the 10th isn't a bad one. I would potentially buy somewhere that are in the 8th, you know, April 8th. And then if the share price is $279.22, if I believe it's going down, obviously doing a put, I would buy an option probably somewhere right in this range, right? Well, I would say probably even better to mitigate risk. I would end up probably buying something right around that 279 strike price. Basically what that does is it allows me to save a little bit on the premium between the 280 and the 279. So I save about a 41-cent premium. And then what I'm also able to do then is still have a relatively, you know, relatively close break-even price, right? By that time, you could easily see it down there in the 275s. I would now be in the money as opposed to being out of the money, and make that a profitable trade. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please give that video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. I'm loving the growth that this channel has seen lately. I look forward to answering any questions down there in the comment section. And if you're interested in learning or wanting to trade with me more on a one-on-one basis, there is a link in the bio for that. That's always, you know, just another option. You don't have to do it. Don't feel obligated whatsoever. There's going to be plenty of great free content that's going to be continued here on Young Money Investments here on YouTube. And thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, and by the way, check out one of these other videos. We got like 1, 2, couple different videos on some other cool topics. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.